Hi guys, welcome back to I Speak English. My name's Hayley, and in this lesson I'm going to be showing you how you can prepare for your Cambridge C1 exam on your own. So you don't need to spend tons of money on really expensive lessons for your Cambridge C1 exam. I'm saying this as a Cambridge C1 teacher. You do not need to pay for lesson after lesson after lesson to pass your Cambridge C1 exam. There is a way to pass it on your own, and I'm going to be going through step by step how to prepare for each part of the exam. So we're going to take a look at vocabulary, grammar, and then every part of your exam as well. And I'm going to be showing you different tools and techniques that you can use to pass your exam on your own. So stick with me here and we're going to take a look at that in a second. But before we look at that, please do make sure you're subscribed to the channel and that you hit the bell so that you can get a notification from me every time I upload a new video. New videos go out every Saturday, so if you want to learn weekly English with me, make sure that you're subscribed and you'll get those videos every week. So hit the subscribe button and let's get started. Okay, so the Cambridge C1 exam, it is a big exam, it's very long, and it is quite difficult to pass. Having said that, I do have a lot of students who have passed the exam, and those students will tell you that once you know the correct strategies, and once you get into a routine of studying and you know exactly what you need to study, then it becomes a lot easier and you can prepare a lot more on your own. Right, so I'm going to go step by step through each part of the exam and how you can prepare for it on your own. So if I were you, the first thing I would do is try to find your weaknesses, okay? So the way that you're going to do this is you're going to take a practice test. Now there are practice tests available online for free. If you go to the Cambridge website or just type into Google Cambridge C1 practice tests and you will get the website for Cambridge, and there are 2 practice tests there that you can download. So download those practice tests, make sure that you time yourself correctly for each part of the exam, take the exam and then work out your score for each section. If you're not sure how each section is marked or how many points you get per question, I do have another video on how to score your Cambridge C1 exam. I'll link it up here, so just click there and you'll be able to use that to help you mark it. And then once you have your scores for each section, start working on your lowest score. Take a look at what your lowest scores are in. You're always going to have some skills that are worse than others. A lot of people, their speaking skills are quite low, but their writing skills are quite high. Listening tends to be quite difficult as well at C1. So take a look what your kind of 2 worst scores are for the exam and then work on that first. Okay, of course you can work on everything if you want, but if you haven't got the time, then definitely work on your weaknesses first so that you can level out those low scores. Okay, so that's the first thing you need to do. Next up, we're going to take a look at grammar. So how exactly can you learn grammar on your own without needing a teacher? First of all, what I would do is get a good textbook, because a lot of textbooks do have grammar sections in the back and they show you exactly the grammar points that you need to learn for Cambridge C1 only. The textbook that I use in all of my lessons, I've used this for years and I will continue to use it. It's called Ready for Advanced. You can get it on Amazon. Again, I'll put the link in the description. This is not like a sponsored post or anything. I'm not getting paid to say this. That's just the book that I always use in classes. I've been through quite a lot of Cambridge C1 Advanced books, and this is the one that I've stuck with and will continue to use for years. So it's a really good book. It has a very detailed grammar section in the back, so you can work on like 1 or 2 points a week, and that way you can learn exactly the grammar that you need to learn for the exam. So that's the first thing I do, get a good textbook. Second, like I said, learn 1 or 2 grammar points every week. And if you want to practice that grammar, you can use ChatGPT to make you exercises to test you on the grammar that you've learned. If you're not sure how to use ChatGPT, you're not familiar with it, I do have another video all about using ChatGPT specifically for Cambridge exams. Again, I'll link it in the description or up here. Make sure you check that out, and then you'll be able to see how you can get ChatGPT to make grammar exercises for you. But they're the 3 things that you can do to learn grammar on your own. Okay, you don't need a teacher to teach you grammar. You can also ask ChatGPT to explain specific grammar points to you if the explanations in the book are not clear enough. All right, so that's your grammar. Next up, vocabulary. How can you learn vocab? Right. So, in the Cambridge C1 exam, vocabulary is probably your main kind of enemy. It's like the big thing that you have to learn. There's a lot of it, and you're expected to use synonyms and paraphrases all the time. So you really need to be learning a lot of vocabulary for Cambridge C1. So one thing that you can do, one thing I would suggest you do is take it topic by topic. You can use topics from the textbook that you bought and just start chunking that vocabulary. So chunking is when you just take little bits of vocabulary at a time and you learn small chunks rather than learning massive lists. Okay, so chunk that vocabulary bit by bit and learn daily, I would say. So you want the type of vocabulary that you want to be learning for the Cambridge C1 exam. Definitely phrasal verbs. This is a huge one at C1. You need to be able to use phrasal verbs relatively fluently at C1, especially in your speaking. So phrasal verbs are the first thing you should be learning. Any sort of collocations, adjectives, nouns, adverbs, verbs. But phrasal verbs and collocations are the big one at C1. Again, if you're not sure what vocabulary you have to learn, because there are not set lists for Cambridge C1, I have made a huge vocabulary list organised topic by topic, which includes phrasal verbs, collocations, and everything else. And I've made that list into a set of flashcards for you. You can find it for free in the description, so just click the link there in the description and you can access that list for free. So if you do that for like 10 minutes a day, every day, for a few months, your vocabulary will get higher and higher and higher, and after a few months you'll really notice that vocabulary comes much quicker to you, and you're able to think of synonyms and paraphrases a lot easier as well. So that's how you can learn vocabulary on your own. Okay. All right, next up. So how to practice speaking. Right, so speaking is very specific in Cambridge C1 because you have your 4 parts to the exam. Each part expects you to do something different, whether it be compare and contrast, whether it be to collaborate with your partner. There are lots of different things you're expected to do in speaking. There are quite a few strategies to use, especially for speaking part 2 and speaking part 3. I do have a few videos about that on my channel, so take a look and you'll be able to learn those strategies. And you'll be able to learn those strategies to kind of help you speak in a logical way without running out of time. I've also got, I've just remembered, I also do have a free ebook for speaking part 2 and speaking part 3 as well, so I'll link that in the description as well. You'll be able to access that. Another thing that's really useful is recording yourself speaking. So a lot of people never listen to their own voice. They don't know what they sound like. And a lot of times I get students say, oh God, I sound horrible, I can't speak properly. But actually they speak fine. And it's just because your version of what you sound like in your head is actually a lot different to what you genuinely sound like. So I would recommend recording yourself talking or doing an exam task and then listening back to it. There is a great app that allows you to do this actually. It gives you the exam tasks, Cambridge C1 exam tasks. You can record yourself speaking and then it also corrects your vocabulary and your grammar. So it's really useful for getting speaking practice without having to go to a lesson. It's like basically like having a teacher but in an app. So the app's called 5 Minute English. I'll link that in the description below as well. You can download that. There is a free trial and then afterwards you have to pay. But I would say it's definitely worthwhile if you need speaking practice. You don't have the opportunity to speak normally in your everyday life. It's a really great alternative. So there are a few things you can do to practice your speaking alone. Next up, your listening. Okay, so listening is something that you can actually practice a lot. You do not have to listen only to exam tasks, okay? Don't do that, because first of all, they're really boring. They're about stuff that you're not interested in. If I were you, I would find something real that you're actually interested in, okay? Find a podcast, find a TV show. There's tons of podcasts out there, all on different topics. So just search, I don't know, if you're into history, search History Podcast or History Channel on YouTube. And just start watching videos. Okay, you don't have to study in order to improve your listening skills. You just have to watch TV and your listening skills will improve. You won't be able to kind of realize it because it will take some time, but after a few months, if you watch, I don't know, 30-minute video every day for a few months, then your listening will improve a ton. Okay, so find a podcast or something real. Second thing, listen to a variety of different accents, okay? This is really important, especially in the Cambridge exam, because they do give quite a lot of variety of British accents in particular in the exam. You might also hear some American and some Australian accents as well. So try to listen to lots of different accents. Strategies, again, there are quite a few strategies you can use for each part of the exam. Again, I've got videos on this channel that go through different strategies for each part of the exam. I also have a full video course all on listening, which goes in detail for different strategies for every part of the exam. If you want to access that, I'll put a discount code in the description. Click the link and you'll get quite a big discount from what the course normally costs. There's preview videos as well, so you can check it out. But that might really help you to improve your listening specifically for the Cambridge exam by using strategies and stuff. So you can click that link there in the description if you're interested in that. Otherwise, just watch TV. Watch all the TV you can, and that'll really help you. All right, moving on to writing then. So, first thing to do for writing is download the Cambridge Teacher's Handbook and read the marking criteria, okay? Again, I'll put this link in the description. It's free. It's from the Cambridge website. This is what teachers use to basically mark your writing. So if you read the marking criteria, then you know exactly what examiners are looking for when they're reading your writing. And you can refer to that while you're doing your writing to make sure that you're on task and what you're doing is correct. So download that first of all. Second thing I would do, practice one writing task a week, at least one a week. So that's 45 minutes a week, right? Practice one task a week, and then you can get ChatGPT to mark your writing. Again, take a look at the video on my channel about ChatGPT for Cambridge, but you can get it to mark your writing according to the Cambridge marking scheme. Okay, so that's really handy. Obviously, ChatGPT is not trained as a Cambridge examiner, so it won't be exactly right. If you do want to know that the exact mark of your writing, that what you're doing is correct or incorrect, I do offer an essay correction service on my website. I'll link that below as well. I'll be happy to give you feedback if you feel that you need it. Otherwise, you can use ChatGPT to do it for you. But just take it with a pinch of salt that it might not be exactly correct. But it's a good alternative if you've not got the money to pay for corrections. Okay, so that's what I do for writing. Next up, on to reading. Okay, so similar to the listening, you can do this in your spare time. You know, you do not have to do Cambridge tasks, okay? Just read real English. Again, find something you're interested in, find a blog. You can read the news if you want, but the news is generally pretty boring and sad. So if you don't want to read the news, you don't have to. Just find something that's actually interesting for you and read that. Something else that's really good is to follow kind of English-speaking influencers, celebrities, whatever, on Instagram or social media, because I know that you spend a lot of time scrolling, right? And while you're scrolling, you're generally reading. So if you're scrolling and a lot of stuff is in English, you're going to be reading in English, but you just don't realize that you're studying or you're reading. So it's a nice way to read without realizing that you're actually studying or that you're learning, let's say. So yeah, follow English speakers on social media. That's a really good tip. Learn to skim and scan. Skimming and scanning is kind of reading quickly for specific information. That's going to really help you in the Cambridge exam because you shouldn't be reading absolutely everything. It's not necessary. You can just quickly go line by line and to find that exact information you need. So learn to skim and scan. Learn strategies again for reading, okay? Again, I have videos for reading if you need it. I have specific videos that give different strategies for each reading part. And I also have a video course as well dedicated only for reading. So I'll link that in the description below. Again, I'll put a discount code and you can have a look at that, watch some preview videos or watch some preview videos on YouTube. And if you think it helps, then you can buy the rest of the course and that will help you improve your reading quite a bit. So that's all the stuff I would do for reading. Find something you're interested in. Read that whenever you can. Follow English speakers on social media. Whenever you're scrolling, you can just read in English, and you can take video courses or try and find some strategy videos on YouTube as well. And lastly, the final thing that I would do is to make a study schedule. Okay, so it's kind of difficult to study if you're doing like 10 minutes here a day, 5 minutes there. So what I would do if I were you is just find 30 minutes a day that you've got free, hopefully at the same time, and then use that to study. So here's what I would do if I were you. This would be my schedule for learning if I was studying for the Cambridge exam. So I would do 10 minutes of vocabulary a day. Using those flashcards on Quizlet, you can just go 10 minutes a day, boom. You can learn 10 new words in 10 minutes and then refresh the next day. So you can do that, while you're stuck in traffic or if you're on the bus or whenever you've got some spare time, you can do that. 5 minutes of speaking every day, if you can. Again, using the app that I showed you, you can do 5 minutes a day using the app. Speaking part 2, speaking part 3, part 4. And then you can get your speaking corrected, your vocabulary and grammar. The app will correct that for you. So that's 15 minutes. Do that every day. And then the rest of the time, for the rest of your week, I would do 1 day of reading, 1 day of use of English, 1 day listening, 1 day writing, and then 1 day of revision. Okay? So maybe try and do this for like 30 minutes a day. Okay, 30 minutes of reading a day, 30 minutes of use of English, 30 of listening, 30 of writing. Okay, so you kind of split that up throughout the week, and then you're able to practice every part of the exam during the week. So that would be my schedule if I was studying for the Cambridge exam. If you do that, if you manage to maintain that every week for like 3 months, then your level will shoot up. You'll be a lot more prepared for your exam if you do that for a few months. All right, and that's everything. That's how you can prepare for the Cambridge C1 exam on your own without taking super expensive lessons. If you found this video useful, please do give it a like. It helps it to reach more people so that they can prepare for the Cambridge C1 exam as well. And as usual, make sure that you're subscribed and you hit the bell so that you can get weekly videos from me and you can carry on studying for free every week. Okay, so that's all from me. If you have any questions at all about the Cambridge C1 exam, just leave me a comment and I'll get back to you when I can. And I'll see you in another video soon. All right, bye.